Rick. I'm the pastor of Grace Redeemer Community Church in Garland, Texas. I like to write devotional thoughts and share them with you online. So I'd encourage you to follow Grace Redeemer Community Church on Facebook or YouTube to hear sermons, Sunday school messages, Wednesday night programming, and these devotional thoughts. Today's thought comes from Acts chapter 4, verses 36 through 37. Now, Joseph, a Levite of Cyprian birth, who was also called Barnabas by the apostles, which translated means son of encouragement, owned a tract of land, and he sold it and brought the money and laid it at the apostles' feet. I was out for a walk the other morning, and I walked by a baseball field, and I noticed this chain link fence that had posts that support the fence every 8 feet or so. And if you've ever pushed a chain link fence at the fence post, you know that you can't move it there. It's way too strong. But between the posts, there's a lot more give in the fence. And I used to have a hobby of climbing chain link fences all the time as a kid. It took a lot more than a fence to keep me from trespassing. But if you remember climbing chain link fences as a kid, you always climbed at the fence post because that's where the fence was the strongest. And so looking at that fence got me to thinking about our walk with Christ. When we regularly read our Bibles and spend time with God, we are like that fence by the fence post. We're strong, we're supported, even immovable. And the same happens when we spend time with other Christians and are encouraged and built up by them. But when we fall out of the habit of reading our Bibles and regular prayer, we're more isolated from other believers who can encourage us and build us up. What happens is we tend to drift from the fence post. We become weak, unsupported, and there is give in our spiritual lives. Now, Barnabas was known as an encourager, and as I just read to you, his name means son of encouragement. In Acts chapter 4, he's the first one mentioned who sold his property and donated the money to the poor. In Acts chapter 9, when all the apostles were afraid to meet Paul, Barnabas brought Paul to them and vouched for him. In Acts chapter 11, Barnabas helped collect money for the poor in Jerusalem, and they entrusted him to bring it there from Antioch. In Acts chapter 15, after Mark abandoned Paul and Barnabas on their first missionary journey, Barnabas was willing to give Mark a second chance on the next missionary journey. And so Barnabas was like a fence post to the people he encountered. He encouraged them, supported them, cared for them, and gave them second chances after failure. And people were always better off for having been around Barnabas. He was just the kind of guy who made you feel better about yourself, and he gave you strength and encouragement to carry on. We all need Barnabases in our lives. Who among us hasn't had times of spiritual dryness? Who among us hasn't suffered from physical or emotional pain at some time? And when we're going through hard times, we need to know who our Barnabases are so we can go to them for encouragement to be built up. But just as importantly, we need to be Barnabases to others as well. If you look around, you'll find so many believers who need encouragement. There's so much sadness, so much hopelessness in the world today. And there probably isn't anybody who isn't going through something that is causing them fear or anxiety. Maybe they've drifted from Christ, and as a result are like the fence post or the part of the fence that is too far from the post. They're easily moved. They have a lot of give in their spiritual lives. And so what should we do as believers to be an encouragement in those people's lives? I just pray that we'll look for opportunities to step into their lives, to support them, to give them encouragement. It's our job to be the fence post that holds them up when they are weak and to remind them of the promises that they have in Jesus. Jesus died for our sins. He rose from the dead. Our lives are in his hands. And as believers, our eternal salvation is secure. And those are the fence posts that we have to hold on to, not only for ourselves, but also to encourage others with them as well. So who can you be a Barnabas to today? Who can you be a fence post to today? I pray that you will look for opportunities. Just think about people in your life who need encouragement and who a simple text, a simple phone call from you might make all the difference. As Barnabas was to the first century believers, let us be to the people we know today. If you are interested in joining our church for services, we are located at 4230 West Buckingham Road in Garland, Texas. Our church meets at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, and you can also check us out online at graceredeemerchurch.org. I hope to meet you in person. I'll be with you soon.